I am Michael Santos, and today we're going to be talking about accountability metrics. You see, when we are starting off on projects that are years in the making, we really need accountability metrics to keep us on track. So what is an accountability metric? Well, I can tell you what it is. It's a tool that we use to measure the progress that we're making every day. That's something I really had to learn when I was going through my own struggle. And if you're inside of a jail or a prison, my recommendation is that you also create a metric that you can use to ensure you're always, moving in the right direction. Because whenever we're climbing out of challenging times, we've got to expect that we are going to face interferences. And those disruptions can really impede our progress. You see, if we're not keeping track of where we are or where we're supposed to be at a given time, it's really easy to drift off course. Minor little setbacks can turn into major disruptions and completely take us off track of what we're striving to become. So when we create our accountability metrics, we have a tool to help us adjust if necessary. And I had to do that numerous times throughout my own journey. I know that if you're going through a journey, you also are going to get distracted or be exposed to disruptions or things that can take you off track. For example, right now, as I'm recording this video file for people who are locked inside of prisons, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and nobody could have really predicted this a year ago. But even if we're in a pandemic, we are responsible for carving our own way out into a life of meaning and relevance and contribution. We are responsible to overcome the factors of our current environment. And that's why today's lesson in our daily journal course is about really creating these accountability metrics that we can use to overcome. Now, I've told you a lot about my past in previous videos of how 3 DE agents arrested me on August the 11th, 1987. And when that happened, I didn't know what to expect because I had never been in custody before. So that's something that's very similar that I share with everybody else who is in custody. There was a time that everything's going normally in our life, and the next day, boom, we find ourselves facing serious problems. Now, in my case, the officers told me I was facing a sentence of life without the possibility of parole, but I didn't know what that meant, and all I knew is that certainly didn't sound good. And the following day, I had to attend those initial court proceedings in federal court in the Southern District of Florida, and the judge would not allow me to get out on bail. So a few days later, the marshals locked me in chains. They transferred me across state lines so that I could stand trial in the Western District of Washington. And like anyone else who was in such a predicament, I just really wanted to end this part of my life. I wanted to get out of jail and move on. But after a jury trial and a unanimous verdict that convicted me of every count, my judge slammed me with a 45-year prison sentence. Now, I didn't know what to expect. It wasn't until after I settled into those first weeks in the penitentiary that I learned about this concept of good time credits. You see, the sentencing laws that existed back in 1987 meant that I would receive 19 years in good time credits at the very start of my sentence. I didn't have to do anything to earn the good time credits, but if staff members charged me with violating the disciplinary code, they could take those credits away. So, I could do the math, and I knew that if I didn't lose any of my good time credits, I would be able to complete my sentence in 26 years. And it didn't take a genius to figure out that it would be better to get out of prison after 26 years than serving an entire 45-year sentence. But I didn't really know how to process this concept of being in prison for 26 years because I hadn't been alive that long. And that's when it occurred to me that I had to, really start thinking about what would happen if I served the entire length of sentence. What would it be like when I came back to society? And it was those kinds of thoughts that really gave me a wake-up call. It prompted me to commit myself further to that 3-part strategy that I'd mentioned in an earlier lesson. And number 1, it said I would work to earn a university degree. Number 2, I would work to become an author. And number 3, I would work to build a strong support network that I intended to use to reach all of my goals. And I wanted to do that within those first 10 years. But to stay on track, I really needed an accountability tool, something that would help me assess, am I making progress? Am I doing something today that is going to advance me further along the goal of what I want to become tomorrow? And that's really what I based this entire Earning Freedom Quarterly Journal. I based that on that accountability metric that I wanted to use to keep track of the progress that I was making. You see, the prison wouldn't allow us to receive daily planners in the mail, so I had to create my own. And that's really what the journal is. It's really just, I started on a blank piece of paper and I drew out what it is that I wanted to achieve. I drew my little lines of the days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I just kind of figured out, okay, what's it going to take for me to make it through? If I know what I want to achieve in 10 years, what do I have to achieve in 5 years? What do I have to achieve in 3 years? And since I knew what I wanted to accomplish, it became very important for me to measure the daily progress. And that way, when these disruptions popped in, I could make an adjustment. If I knew that I wanted to earn a university degree, if I knew that I wanted to publish books, if I knew that I wanted to bring 10 people into my life, by the time I finished my first decade, I knew what I would have to do every single day. And that's really what I'm encouraging you to do. Define excellence in your journey. Figure out where are you supposed to be at a given frame in time, and then use these journals as maybe it's one of many accountability metrics that you can create that will help you serve your time wisely, that will help you reach your goals. Think about in what ways are the people that you want to meet in the future, in what ways are they going to judge you? In what ways are they going to assess you? This is, something that's not really unique to people like us who are going through struggle, but this is the same tool that a business leader would use to determine whether he is reaching his goals for the shareholders or for the owners of the company. It's the way that an employer will assess you on whether you are worthy of a promotion or worthy of advancing to higher levels of responsibility. There are many places where we use accountability metrics in society, and just because we're going into an environment that really takes a lot of our control away from us, it doesn't absolve us of the responsibility of figuring out, are we making progress? So this is just something that really helped me. I'm absolutely certain that it can help you if you can use an accountability metric to really advance you along the line. I really believe you're going to make better progress. I told you that I had set these goals to achieve during my first decade of imprisonment with this mindset that said, well, if I get a college degree, I am going to be in a better position to leverage my education and leverage my sense of accomplishment to build something new in the future. And I know that you can do the same thing. That's why I will encourage you to use not only the accountability journal that you're working through right now, but also use one for, measure your progress in terms of the next quarter and in the terms of the next year, and just lead a very deliberate path, a deliberate life, so that when you meet people that you're going to encounter in the future, you can talk with them and show them, hey, this is the methodical way that I go about solving problems. That strategy really helped me open opportunities while I was incarcerated, and I know it can help you as well. And if you like receiving this kind of a message, and you're on the outside, subscribe to Prison Professors, because we produce this type of content every day to teach and inspire people who are incarcerated. We're super motivated and committed to showing people in prison how to stay focused, how to work towards the best possible outcome. We really are all about trying to break this cycle of struggle that so many people who go through prison face. And one of the ways that we do that is by holding ourselves accountable, not for anything from the administration, but really just because we want to be in charge of our own future. These are the strategies that worked for me. And if you have a loved one in prison or you're going into prison, you might want to scroll down to the show notes and see the links to our store at Prison Professors, where you can order the course on the Earning Freedom Journal course and get one of these books every single month. We're taking pre-orders right now for 2021, knowing that this project can help you. I am Michael Santos with Prison Professors. I do hope that you will subscribe, and I also hope that you will support our sponsors at cbdtv.com. Thank you.